Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to use n8n to automate and put on autopilot your AI UGC content. Okay, so you're going to be learning the basics of n8n, the basics of AI UGC platforms and how to connect it to n8n, and also you're going to be learning something called Postman. Okay, if that was a mouthful and if you're not really sure what the hell am I talking about, don't worry, stick around because you're going to be seeing everything live as I'm doing it, and I'm going to be explaining everything to you as a beginner. All right, so if that sounds good, let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So before we begin, you will need a few things. Okay, so the first one, you will need n8n. Okay, so the link will be available to create an account with n8n below the video. Then you will need something called Heygen, which is essentially a platform where you can generate AI UGC content. Okay, and also a link will be available below the video. And then item number 3, you will need something called Postman, so we can make API calls to n8n, guys, okay? And also a link will be available below the video, so I make sure to make it easy, guys, so go ahead and create accounts and download everything that you need if you want to do it side by side with me, okay? So we are now ready to start, so let's go ahead and do that. So on the screen, you're going to see 2 AI automations / workflows that essentially generate AI UGC content through n8n and Heygen. Okay, so we have the option number 1, which is using n8n's built-in AI agent. Okay, so essentially, this is a virtual agent or worker that generates on a daily basis at 9 a.m. a piece of content based on topic and also on some custom prompts or directions. Okay, I'm going to show you what are those as well in a minute. So essentially what it does, it uses AI agent to create random content on the Beautify AI theme, which is aka the topic or the product, Shopify, e-commerce, and other related topics, okay? AI agent will create new content daily at 9 a.m. and reference the last 10 scripts to avoid repetition, okay? So this is how it works. Here we have a schedule trigger, okay? And this is essentially a sort of very basic scheduling tool automation within n8n, and all it essentially does, it just says, okay, this action will be repeated every day, for example, at 9 a.m. or if you want at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever it is, guys, because it's done by AI agent. So anytime you want to choose whatever makes more sense for you in terms of, if you have a specific social media posting calendar, then make sure to align that with that, okay? But for me, I'm choosing at 9 a.m. So every day at 9 a.m. this resets every day, and it's gonna happen the same thing every day at 9 a.m. Okay, it's gonna trigger the workflow and then it's gonna send it to AI agent. Okay, and from now AI agent will start doing its thing, guys. And the prompt in itself, it's very simple. Okay, all it does essentially, you are a TikTok UGC strategist. Okay, each day you generate a unique 15-second UGC video script for a product called the Beautify AI theme. Okay, in your case, it can be anything else. You will just enter your own product or niche in there instead. Okay, so before creating today's script, recall previous outputs. Okay, we are essentially referencing context, okay, or something that has been generated before. Okay, so sort of we are dipping into AI's memory. Okay, obviously it doesn't work that way by default. We are adding something called simple memory right here, provided by n8n, guys. Okay, so essentially it's going to be storing the last 10 generated scripts by AI agent, and every time it's generating the new one, it's going to be looking back at those 10 scripts to make sure we don't repeat the same content or the same style or direction over and over again for at least the next 10 steps. Okay, you can make it 5, 20, whatever the context window you want to put, you can do it in here, guys. Okay, but again, guys, don't forget, the bigger the context window, the longer it's going to take to generate your script, for example. But again, guys, even if you put like 50, 60, the difference is going to be in milliseconds, so not really a life-changing either, okay? And then we are essentially using OpenAI chat model, okay? So because AI agent needs to use a LLM model to generate content or text, and for that we're using ChatGPT, but you can select either ChatGPT or Claude, or essentially, I believe n8n integrates with all the large language models. Okay, so you will need to create an account, okay, and bring in your own API key in there, guys. So super simple, guys. If you never done that, guys, it's super easy. You're just gonna go to, for example, OpenAI, guys. Okay, and just type in OpenAI API. You're gonna go to API platform. You're gonna log in, guys. Okay, just right here, API platform, for example. And then you're gonna go to dashboard, and then you're gonna go to API keys here, guys. Okay, so these are all of my API keys, guys. You can see them. They're all hidden for a reason. Okay, but essentially you will have your API keys in here, guys. You're just gonna copy, paste it, and bring it to n8n. Okay, and to create your OpenAI account, all you're gonna do essentially is right here, create a new credential. Okay, here you're gonna copy paste in your API key you just brought from OpenAI API platform. Okay, and essentially that's it. Okay, you don't need to change everything here. Base URL, you leave it by default, and then you're gonna click save, and essentially that's as easy as it is. Cool, guys. And if you're a complete beginner, like if you ask me like how do I get all of these on the workflow, it's super simple, guys. Okay, all I do is just right click right here, add a node, and then you have all these options. Okay, so here you have AI agent, that's the one I'm using. Okay, AI agent. Here we have a schedule trigger right here. Okay, and guys, there's so many. For example, here we have something for YouTube. Okay, and for YouTube you have an option to automatically upload a video, to a specific playlist. Okay, which is really cool, guys, because here's a scenario: you have AI on the schedule that creates content on a daily basis at 9 a.m. Using a specific script. Okay, and once the video is generated, okay, you can automate it in a way that it's going to be downloaded by automation from, for example, Heygen or whatever you use a platform using. Okay, so video generates, AI agent or automation downloads the video, and then it uploads it to your YouTube channel. Okay, and you're not doing anything. Okay, everything is on autopilot. Okay, and this is the really crazy and cool part about n8n and how you can automate things in there, guys. Okay, it's just mind blowing. So this, and honestly, YouTube is literally one of the only few options they have. They have so many other options that you can choose from. Okay, so now let's move on. So this is my flow for now, guys. So we have a scheduled trigger at a certain time, 9 a.m. every day. It's getting triggered, so AI agent can start creating and writing a script, and it's looking back to the 10 previous scripts to make sure it doesn't repeat itself. For that, it's using OpenAI GPT-4o model. Okay, it generates script and then it sends it to Heygen. Okay, to API handle, okay, or URL, okay, and that's how it generates essentially the content and sends it to Heygen. Okay, guys, and I'm using Heygen for that, and essentially once it's generated, it's gonna show up right here, guys. So this is one of the videos I generated today using this flow, guys, and this is how it looks and sounds, for example. And guys, this was fully done by AI. I didn't do it manually in here, guys. So it was generated by the flow right here, okay, and it was generated in Heygen, and I got a notification that it was ready to go, guys, and I essentially didn't do anything, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so and so once that is done, okay, you're going to be using something called HTTP request, and HTTP request is where you're going to be essentially using your API keys for the platform where you are generating the content. Okay, in my case it's Heygen. You can I believe all the AI UGC platforms have their own API keys like Creatify or Arcades, guys, whatever you guys be using. Okay, so you essentially need a API token or key so you can actually generate the video directly on the platform through a request. Okay, let me show you how that looks. So for now, I removed my API key, guys. Okay, so you don't steal it and start generating free videos on my account, guys. So I removed my API key, guys, right here. So this is the way it works. You're going to be using HTTP request. Okay, it's going to be post method. Okay, and here's the URL from Heygen. Okay, and all of these can be retrieved from the help guides and from the documentation for the platform that you're going to be using. So I pulled this one directly from Heygen's documentation on their website, but you can find the same thing for Creatify or for Arcades guides, or you can just ask ChatGPT and it's going to find it for you on the web, guys. Okay, so here you need a post method. Okay, when you're sending something to API, it's going to be always a post method. Okay, and then you have the URL and URLs are always predefined by the platforms like Heygen, Creatify, whatever. So make sure to double check with the platforms because it's very important. Otherwise, if it's the wrong URL, you're gonna get a 404 error or 403, whatever it is, if you're putting the wrong URL. Okay. For authentication, we are not adding anything because it's going to be handled through the header params, okay, which essentially is a API key, guys. And for Heygen, it's handled through XAPI-key, okay. Different platforms can be working with a barrier or different token systems, okay? But Heygen specifically is working with XAPI-key, so always make sure to reference the documentation for the platform that you are working with, okay, guys? And in the value, essentially, you're going to enter the API key or your API token. Otherwise, you will get a unauthorized error if you try to do it without API key, because API key, think of it as an actual key to a door that you unlock to use the platform, okay? If you don't have the key, you will not be able to enter the door, guys. Simple as that, okay? And then we are always using, in most cases, a JSON body content type, okay? And what it is. So JSON body content type, essentially, it's a it's type of data that we are sending to a platform that we want to work with, okay? In our case, it's going to be Heygen. So we're sending essentially a set of params and settings that Heygen requires to generate a video, okay? In this case, it is avatar, okay? It's required to choose a avatar type or character. Then we have avatar ID, okay? We have avatar style, and we have the voice, and then we have the voice ID, okay? So all of these IDs are provided by Heygen, but to find them, it's a little bit tricky, guys, okay? And for that, we're gonna be using something called Postman, guys, okay? So we're gonna be essentially making API calls to Heygen to pull this data from there, okay? So let me, guys, show you how that works. So for that, we're using Postman, guys, and again, make sure to download it if you haven't. It's free to start. You don't have to pay for anything. It's a free tool to test API keys and to test API calls, okay? So to do that, guys, this is how it works here. I have a get request, okay? Because when we want to retrieve something from API or a platform, we need to use get because we are getting something, okay? When we are not posting. So when we're sending a data to a platform, we're always going to be using post, okay? But if we want to retrieve something from a platform like data or IDs, we're going to be using get because we want to get it, okay? So those are the kind of the key differences. And here we have the URL to get the data from, guys. But again, if you're just gonna use it like this, for example, here, if I take this handle right here and I bring it to my browser, just to kind of show you guys how that looks, and I'll just copy paste, it's gonna tell me that I'm not authorized, guys, because I'm not providing the API key. Again, guys, if you remember, you need API key to retrieve any type of data from any platform, okay? Because that is your secret key to open the door and get the data, okay, guys? And the way to do it, guys, if you're using Heygen, guys, all you need to do is just gonna go here to your settings right here on the setting options, and then you're gonna click on subscriptions and API. Then you're gonna click on Heygen API, guys, and you're gonna essentially copy your API token right here, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna show you because obviously I'm not gonna give you my API keys, guys. Okay, you're gonna have your own. So when you guys are working with API keys, always make sure to store them securely because those are super important, guys. Don't leak them anywhere. Don't show it to anybody. Don't show it on your screens because the minute somebody steals it, they can use, for example, Heygen, and they just generate a bunch of free videos until you notice that there is leak. But by the time the API key could be exhausted, and essentially you won't be able to get that back. Okay, so be always careful with API keys. That is sensitive and private data, guys. So once you have that, guys, essentially you're gonna go back to Postman, okay, and then you're gonna click on here. You're gonna click on authorization. I'm not gonna click on it because my API key is in there, okay, but when you click on authorization, make sure to choose the option that is called barrier, okay? And when you select barrier, you will be able to copy paste the API token, guys, okay? Actually, let me see if I can just create a new request and just show you in the blank version, guys. Cool, guys, so I create a new just example request. So here you're gonna have the get, and here you're gonna copy paste the Heygen URL, whatever, using Creatify, whatever is gonna be the HTTP path, okay? And once you are on authorization, make sure that you select this option right here, okay? It's called barrier token, okay? I'm not gonna click on it because it's gonna reveal my API key. automatically. So make sure that you select this right here, bearer token, and then you're going to copy paste the token you just brought from your Heygen or Creatify or whatever the platform you chose to use for AI UGC, guys, and just copy paste it in there, guys. Okay, so once that is done, guys, let me just remove this for now. Okay, I don't need it anymore. So once that is done, guys, I'm gonna go here. For example, if I want to retrieve the avatar ID, which is required for Heygen, for the JSON params, okay, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna click on send, and now I'm gonna retrieve all of the avatar IDs from Heygen. Okay, it's gonna take a minute. Here, guys. So these are all of the IDs, and the ones we are interested in is the one called avatar ID right here. Okay, so this is the one that is required. So if I go back here, guys, let me just bring it back here. Let me back here. Let me open the flow. Let me just make this bigger for you guys so you can see it. There you go. So here we have avatar ID. Okay, so this is required, and we are pulling this from here. So avatar ID, and again, guys, there's like thousands of them. You can always check their documentation and check which avatar you want, because each avatar has its own character. Okay, so choose whichever you want and whichever you want to create content with, guys. Okay, so avatar ID is from here. Okay, and that's how we essentially got it in here. And then another one that is required, we have a voice ID, or essentially a voice model. And same way, we are using get voices from API Heygen.com v2-voices. And once I click send, I'm going to retrieve all the voice IDs same way. So here, voice ID, this is the ID, just going to copy that, and essentially you're going to bring it to here and enter it right here. Okay, or whatever voice ID you guys are going to choose, doesn't matter. So you can essentially choose your voice ID from there, so Heygen can generate that content for you. If you guys don't enter those, you're just going to get error that there is some data missing in the JSON. Okay, and guys, if you are making a mistake or something, don't worry, edit and it will throw an error right away. It's not gonna work, and it's gonna tell you exactly where you made a mistake and where you should be fixing. Okay, and essentially that's how we got all the data that was needed for HTTP request, or essentially to make a HTTP call or request to Heygen's API and to generate the video with all the data from AI agent. And again, guys, you can always make sure that you prompt your request correctly, because here I'm asking essentially for it not to repeat itself, and also you can ask to make sure to reference the latest topics on the web. Okay, so the 4.0 model has very basic web scraping option available. Okay, it doesn't do like crazy intense web scraping. It literally kind of looks at the Google the way you would do it, guys. So for example, here, if I go on Google and I'm searching for something like top 10 trends in AI, okay, like this. So essentially it's gonna be looking at all of these snippets here, and then it's gonna, for example, click on this link right here, and it's gonna just read the raw data. Okay, and that's essentially how ChatGPT works with a web scraping. So it really scrapes just the surface, just the very bare minimum of the data on the web, guys. Okay, and based on that, it's still good enough, because this way you can keep up with the latest trends. Okay, because there's a lot of websites who are literally just creating blogs and posts based on the latest trends in AI, latest trends in e-commerce, marketing, etc. So ChatGPT will use the data, and you will somewhat be relevant. But again, guys, you won't be getting the latest data, because as you guys know, it doesn't really on Google, when you create a new blog or article, okay, you're not gonna have that immediately reflecting on Google. Okay, and if ChatGPT doesn't see it here, it's not gonna go and do deep web scraping like specialized web scrapers who actually do deep search and find topics and blogs that haven't been yet reflected on Google search, guys. But again, guys, it's still good enough to start with. Once you kind of get hang with it, you can use custom web scrapers. Here I'm going to show you how to do that, guys. So if I want to add a custom, more advanced web scraper, okay, I would do something like this. I'm gonna add a node, and then I'm gonna look for a scraper. Okay, and here we have two options. Okay, but again, you will need to install it. You will need to go and create an account, probably subscribe to get a API key, guys, because web scraping is fairly expensive. It's an expensive process, guys. So you will need to purchase a API key or account or some kind of a plan to keep it going, guys. Okay. But again, guys, AI agent and OpenAI integration and just the basic web scraping from ChatGPT is more than enough to get you started as a beginner. Cool, guys. So that's essentially how it is. And if you want to trigger, the workflow, you're just gonna go here and click on execute workflow, guys. Okay, let me just zoom in. Once I click execute, essentially it's gonna go through all these steps, all the way down to creating content and pushing it to Heygen through API. Okay, so this is how it works. Let me just trigger that. I believe I've exceeded my daily quota for API requests, guys. Yes, here it is. And this is how errors work, guys. So you will know exactly what mistakes you're making. So here it says, actually it's something else, guys. Cool. So JSON data, let me see where we made a mistake. JSON needs to be valid JSON. Okay, so the problem was we were essentially, we forgot to wrap everything in the curly braces. I only had the one, so that was essentially breaking the JSON's body request. But now here's the issue that actually I'm facing because my API daily limit has been hit, guys. But essentially everything is working, so we just essentially reached, I've reached my API daily request for the day because I was going crazy with API requests, guys. So I fit my daily limit, but everything else is working, guys. So the only issue is that I don't have enough daily API limits, and that's gonna reset for me tomorrow, guys. I'm actually in the progress of upgrading the plan, guys. But again, everything is working, guys. I'm just hitting my daily limits for today, guys. Okay. So that's essentially the way of doing AI UGC automation using init-end's AI agent, okay? And this is really basic and beginner-friendly flow, guys, okay? Let me know down in the comments if you got a hang of it, or if you need help, guys, or if you want me to share the flow with you as a preset, guys, I'll do it gladly. Just let me know down in the comments, guys, okay? So option number two, how you can do it. So option number two is something called webhook, okay? Essentially, webhook is something that shares a data between two applications real time, okay? It's good in a way that, so here in the flow number one, AI agent is essentially creating new content on a daily basis at 9 a.m., okay? But here with the webhook, you can integrate this essentially either into Zapier and create a separate automation. When this happens to Zapier, then trigger the webhook, and then you will create a AI UGC content automatically, okay, and send it to Heygen, okay? Or you can have your own platform where you essentially are generating AI content automatically. So just go to your platform and click generate content, and it essentially goes through this whole flow and generates Heygen UGC content on Heygen platform. And then you're just gonna download it, guys. Just really a pure example and references, okay? So essentially the difference is when you're using something like webhook, you need to create a post request from another platform, okay? So in our case, we are using Postman, guys, okay? So let me show you how that works. So since I'm using webhook, first I need to execute the workflow or initialize the webhook. Okay, so now the webhook is waiting for a post request, and the post request will be essentially coming from Postman. Okay, so here we are using this URL, guys, and if you ask me where I got this URL, I got it from the webhook node right here, guys. So here, if you look, this is exactly the same URL I created in n8n, and it's a post method, okay? And then we're using this post method in here, and once I click send, guys, watch this. Here, it's calling OpenAI. Again, guys, the same issue is here. I hit my daily API request, but it works at its core, guys. As you guys saw, let me just repeat that one more time. Here, I'm gonna execute the workflow. It's waiting for the post request from a third-party platform or something like Postman in our case, guys. Let me just bring it back. I just saw it here. So here, I'm gonna click send. It's gonna create a post request. Boom. Okay, and now it's executing. And again, it says that I'm just simply exceeding my API daily tokens, guys. That is really the issue. But other than that, both of the flows are super healthy and they are working, guys, okay? And before that, let me just show you how that works. Okay, guys, so again, this video was created fully by AI. It was actually created by this automation right here, guys. So the first one, okay? And when I use it, it essentially created a UGC content in Heygen right here. So this one was fully automated by AI, guys, okay? Cool, guys, yeah, and this was like it's a fully automated API request from n8n, guys, okay, which is pretty awesome. And this is really tip of the iceberg, which you can do with it, guys. You can customize it to so many different levels, guys. You can, for example, here you can add an option to download the video once it's done generating with Heygen, guys. You will need to add some kind of a polling request in a sense that because Heygen takes 10, maybe 15 minutes to generate video when it's done through API. So you need to add in the middle a node that will essentially wait and attempt to retry after, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes and to check if the video is ready to download. And once it's ready to download, it's going to download the video and then it's going to upload it to YouTube onto your account, create a draft, or you can even create a agent that will optimize the title, create a description, and put everything in the draft. And you're just gonna go to your YouTube channel, review everything, and publish it to public. And that's what it is, guys. That's pretty awesome. If you want me to create a flow like that, where actually we're taking piece of content, going through workflows and automations, uploading everything to YouTube, guys, let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna create a free guide on that as well. And guys, I did forget to mention one important detail. So when we are making post requests from something like Postman, okay, we need to include a post data in a raw JSON format. Okay, so this is all JSON format, but it's a raw JSON format. And here we are essentially including product name, okay, the tone, and the platform. And we need that to essentially create content through ChatGPT API. Okay, so here, if I click on OpenAI, let me just expand that, guys. Here, if you guys see, I'm using these variables within the two curly brackets. Okay, so JSON.tone and JSON.platform, and then we have these two lines in between. And these two lines are essentially called OR operator, meaning if there's no condition left under the JSON.tone, then it's going to use casual, and if there's no data or condition met for JSON.platform, it's going to be using platform TikTok. Okay, it's more of a fallback mechanism. So okay, so here you can see JSON.tone. Okay, and essentially it's right here. You guys see tone. Okay, and that's where we are using. So here I can put instead of casual, I can write something like let me delete this, friendly. Okay, and you can add anything you guys want in a sense, like how you want the contents out, the tone, the platform. Here I can change this to YouTube, for example. Okay, and then it's going to be sending the JSON data with these params. Okay, and here, for example, we already have a product called the Beautify. Okay, so we hard coded a static data in here, guys, but here we have an option to have a product name, guys. Okay, so how you would enter that as a variable, guys? Pretty easy, guys. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna delete this and we're gonna put two of these and then two spaces here. And then all we're gonna do, we're gonna do $sign.json, and then we're gonna enter product underscore name. Okay, something like this, guys. Okay, but I made a typo here, so it has to be JSON like this. Okay. Okay, so the problem was I basically forgot to add the OR operator. So I added JSON.product name, which was correct, which was the correct syntax for the JSON post call right here, guys. But I forgot to add the OR operator, because if I don't add a fallback option or operator, okay, it's gonna say that there is a undefined variable, guys. Okay, so it can happen, guys, when you're working with the code the first time, even as a beginner, guys. Making small syntax errors will be something you will get used to, guys. Okay, so don't worry about it. So we are good to go here, and that's essentially how we are sending the data from Postman to N8N, guys. Okay, but it can be anything else. Here I'm using Postman, but you can use Zapier. You can use pretty much any automation tool out there, because 90% of them are offering a raw or JSON post data that you can be sending to something like N8N, for example. Okay, okay, so now I try to run the workflow, so it works. Again, we're just getting the same error here. I've exceeded my API request limit for the day, guys. Okay, so but everything else is working fine. As you can see, guys, it passed. It just fails because here is essentially blocking me on my API limits for the day. But yeah, essentially that's a wrap. That's how you can automate your AI UGC content on autopilot. Again, guys, this is not limited just to Heygen. I do believe also Creatify AI. They do have their own API. So here is Creatify API. Okay, I do believe they have their own. Yeah, so essentially they're charging $1 per minute, okay? And here you have the documentation for the API, guys. So again, very similar to Heygen, and essentially most of the AI user platforms out there will have their own API keys, so you can create things on autopilot or automatically, guys. Okay. Cool, guys, and that's it. Let me know what you think about the video, or if you run into any issues, if any questions, guys. And if you want me to create any type of content or automation or N8N, guys, or pretty much anything that comes to your mind, if you're curious if it's possible to automate, let me know down in the comments, guys. And if that makes sense, I will create a free content on that topic for you guys. Okay, so just share feedback, share ideas, guys, and I would love to create content around those ideas, guys. And if you did enjoy the video, as usual, guys, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.